Hi, so this video is going to go over the second half of the variables packet. The previous video went over pages 1 through 6, and now we're going to start on page 7. So, if you find this page, it looks like this. We're going to talk about and do a few examples again on each page together, and then you'll pause in between and finish the practice and check it with the key. So, I want to write down first to review the 4 parts of the equation. So in every equation, we're going to have an independent variable, we're going to have a dependent variable, we're going to have a starting value, and we're going to have a rate. Okay, so we're going to look at those 4 parts some more. A here says if y equals 300 minus 20x, and they tell us y is how many dollars Mr. Vaughn has in his bank account, and x is the number of weeks that have gone by. What do we know about Mr. Vaughn? Well, yesterday we talked about how the number by itself is the starting value. So here when it says what does the 300 tell us, that's the number by itself. So that's our starting value. So I'm going to write he starts with $300. Okay. What does the negative 20 tell us? Well, the negative 20 is the number with the x, so that's our rate. So a negative 20 must mean that he is spending or losing $20 each. And I have to finish the statement each week. So we're looking at weeks. Okay. What is the independent variable? Well, we know the independent variable would be x. Okay, so x here is the number of weeks, and the dependent variable is y, and y in this case is how much money he has in his account. Okay, so B and C here are just like that, looking at the equation and then kind of figuring out the 4 pieces, the independent variable, the dependent variable, the starting value, and the rate. Okay. I want to point out if you write this down, so if all I write down is starting value, rate, and x and y, that's not enough information. You need to tell me what is the starting value, what is the rate, what is the independent or the x variable, and what is the dependent or the y variable. So you need more information than just this. Okay, you can look at the answer key for help if you get stuck. So A, B, and C are like that. Let's come down here. Okay, now I'm looking at the equation. I'm giving you what x and y are, and you just need to fill in the statement. So in this one, y equals 3x, y is how many cups of coffee I've had, x is hours. Well, I've had, a lot of people get stuck on this one. I've had 0 cups to start with. Right? The starting value is 0. We don't ever write plus 0. So if there's no number here like that, it's just a starting value of 0. So 0 cups to start. And then 3, I can see that my rate is 3. So 3 cups each hour. Right? Let's do one more of these. Y equals 5x plus 2, where y is the number of balloons, x is how many days it's been. Okay, so starting value, because I'm looking for how many did I start with, starting value is the number by itself. So 2 balloons to start, and my rate is 5, so I gain 5 or I get 5 more each day. Okay? All right, so then there's more examples like this. Again, if you're stuck or you feel like you need a little bit more help, look at the answer key for 1 or 2 more, and then pause, and then try the rest on your own. Okay, so that takes us all the way up through halfway on page 8, and I'm going to skip these for right now. Okay, so let me zoom out so you can see. I'm going to skip the second half of page 8 right there. Pause and catch up to us, and then I'm going to start again on page 9. Okay, so this is page 9. I'm going to write a couple hints down again. Remember we talked about x is the independent variable, but the clues here are control, right? The thing in control or the thing you can control, and time. If you have seconds, minutes, days, weeks, hours, anything to do with time, that's going to be your X variable. And for Y, our clues here to help us are to think of the result or the outcome. Okay? So that'll help us remember how to determine which is X and which is Y. All right. And my last thing, another hint. Variables are things that you can count or measure. Okay. So there's our little hints. On this page, they want us to write the equation. It says a tree is 46 feet tall and growing 2.6 feet per year. So when I read this again, I'm going to underline the things that I can count or measure. I can count or measure how tall the tree is, and I can count or measure how many years go by. Notice that I do not put any numbers in there with my variables. Just what is the thing I'm counting or measuring. All right, now I have to decide which is X and which is Y. So time is always going to be X, so years. And the result or the outcome is the height of the tree. Okay, so let's put it together as an equation. All your equations are going to be y equals, y equals, y equals. All right, starts at 46 and growing taller, so plus 2.6 is my rate, 2.6 feet per year, so 2.6x. Okay, let's do one more. Elephant weighs 896 pounds and gains 8 pounds a year. So I'm going to underline the things that I can count or measure. I can count or measure how much the elephant weighs. I can count or measure how many years. Okay, we said time is always X, so I can put years in here for X. Y, the result or the outcome, is going to be the elephant's weight. That's the other thing that I'm measuring. And write an equation. So y equals starting value, the number by itself, our starting value is going to be 896. It's gaining 8, so plus 8. 8 pounds for every year, so 8 times the number of years, 8x. Okay? So there's a couple examples to get you started on page 9, and page 10 is also the same. Okay, there's a bunch of these. I know it feels like a lot of writing, but the repetition helps you really get the hang of it. Okay, so before I write anything down here, I'm going to go on to page 11 next, but I want you to actually make sure you paused and finished and caught up to us and checked everything else so far with the answer key. And then when you're ready, we'll go on to page 11 here. Okay? So, this one says we're going to be writing the equations. At Bowerville Superstore, it costs $25 to become a member. After that, it's $3 for each ebook that you want to rent. So we're going to use this chart to help us calculate the total cost. Okay? So customer A walks in and they want to get 3 ebooks. We want to find out what their total cost would be. All right? So they still have to pay $25 to join plus $3 for every ebook, and they're getting 3 ebooks. Right? And if I put that into my calculator, I follow order of operations. So 3 times 3 is 9 plus 25, 34. Okay? Somebody else walks in and they want 5 ebooks. How much will they be charged? Well, they still have to pay $25 to join, plus $3 for every ebook, and they want 5 ebooks. So put that in your calculator and see what their total would be. Well, 3 times 5 is 15. 15 plus 25, they'd pay 40. Okay? So this is helping us build up to the equation. If somebody walks in and they want they want X. Woo! Throwing my pen. They want X ebooks, right? They got to pay $25 to join plus $3 for every ebook. So that would be our equation, y equals 25 plus 3x. Okay. All right, I'm going to skip this one about Frosty. You can try it and check it with the answer key. I want to come down here to Bob, part D. Bob's Well Drilling Company. So they charge $350 just to come out to your house with their equipment. And then they charge $20 for every foot that they have to drill down for your well. Okay? Calculate the total cost for having a well drilled to these depths. All right, so this person needs a 50-foot well. Well, they have to pay $350 to have Bob come out, and then the cost goes up. It's $20 per foot, and he's getting a 50-foot well. Okay, so put that into your calculator. Pause it if you need to type it in. You should get that. Okay, what if somebody else needs a 70-foot well? They're going to pay $350 for Bob to come out, $20 per foot. They're going down 70 feet. Type that into your calculator, right? Multiply first, plus $350. Should give you that. Let me get my answers to make sure I'm giving you the right numbers. Okay. So, for an X feet, a well that's X feet, it's going to be $350 to get Bob to come out, plus $20 times however many feet they have to go down. Okay, so then we get the equation. Well, now I'm going to rewrite the equation, and I'm going to use C for the cost and F for how many feet. Move it up here. Okay, so I'm going to write down the cost is equal to $350 plus 20 times the number of feet they go down. Okay, and I'm going to copy that down right here for number 3 and number 4. So C equals $350 plus 20F. C equals $350 plus 20F. Okay, because it says use that equation that we just wrote down to find out how deep the well was if somebody got a bill for $2,210. Well, this $2,210 is a cost. So I'm going to plug it in right here for C, for the cost. So I'm going to rewrite it. $2,210 is equal to $350 plus 20F. Okay. And I'm going to find my variable. And I'm going to get that F by itself. So I'm just copying this down quickly, but you can just pause and work it out with me. Minus $350 from both sides. 20F equals 1860. Divide by 20, I'm just canceling out to get F alone, and I get 93. So 93 feet is my answer. Okay? So please pause if you need to finish working it out. I'm going quickly just to do this example together before we run out of time. Now I'm on to number 4. Use the equation again to figure out how much it would cost if you need a well that's 410 feet. Well, they're giving me feet. So I'm going to put it in for F. So cost is equal to $350 plus 20 times 410 feet. And now when I find my variable, it's already by itself. So all I have to do is work this out, right, and get the answer. So multiply first. When I type this in, I get 8,200. Add the 350, and I get that the cost would be 8,550. Okay? So, in these kinds of problems, they're giving me a number to plug in. You have to decide which variable it goes in for, and then solve for the variable you have left. Right? I plugged in money and solved for feet, or I plugged in feet and solved for the cost. Okay? All right, so I'm going to put page 12 up, and I'm going to give you the answers. So pause if you need to. I want you to put these answers in, right? Write these answers in and see if you can fill in the work and make sure you get these answers, okay? Careful on this one. You're talking about underground and below the surface, so all of your depths here are really going to be negative numbers. So finish working out page 12 and see if you can check it here. Use the key to help you, okay?